Our decision to donate our embryos has come about through having had successful fertility treatment. Our son's just turned 5, and both my husband and I had initially wanted a larger family. We both have siblings, and we had 3 frozen embryos. However, circumstances with me being that bit older, me being my own boss, my husband changing jobs, still not being homeowners, have all impacted in this decision that we needed to make as to what our family unit looked like. And the reality was that we were both very happy with our son, yet still the reality of then what to do with those embryos needed to be addressed. And then the realization that what came with that was a very emotionally loaded process. I did share it a bit on my social platforms, and every time people's response was, I feel the same, I don't know what to do about it, it's stressing me out. And I think it's fair to say that these kind of decisions stay with you. And I talk about it as being one of the hardest decisions I've made in my life to make this decision, which is why I can only stress the importance of having the support from the counselling. Jackie Stewart is a counsellor here at Bourne Hall, and we work together through the decision that I and my husband made to donate our embryos. Why is it such a difficult decision?
If you are emotionally attached to that embryo as a potential child, that can affect a person on a very, very deep psychological level and emotional level. And so that filters out into your life. And because you've not made a decision, you have a constant dilemma of making that decision. Counselling is purely supporting somebody's feelings. You can feel very alone and isolated out there with something that actually can be quite overwhelming, this decision.
When we worked together, you talked to me about the grief aspect of this decision, and it wasn't something that I'd thought about.
But if you had a dream to have more than one child and to complete your family, and that's changed, then there is a sense of loss. There can be, for some people, a sense of loss.
On the flip side of that, you also then spoke to me about enabling and what this decision enabled me to do. And personally, as somebody who runs their own business, it was quite a significant move in that it was what it was going to enable me with my work.
If you can actually be brave enough to come forward and to look at your fears, to look at all of the decisions, to walk through the different options, which can actually be really enabling because they can see, the potential of each option and what that can bring them. And that's very uplifting. That's what I think how it can help them, actually, going forward.
We looked into that option of donating to science, and going through the process and having the paperwork that was sent out, which you are given information as to what is going to happen, and it's quite overwhelming. And we held on to that paper for quite a long time, even once we'd said this was going to be the decision that we made. Coming and talking and understanding what happens and hearing language like these embryos being so precious and the gift of giving your embryos to research makes me feel proud. And I hope that when I go and tell my husband about it, that he will also feel proud. But ultimately, once we reached the decision, I felt that I wanted to acknowledge it. We went to the beach. I hadn't told my husband actually what I was planning, but I took 3 white roses because we had 3 embryos, and we threw them out to the sea, and of course they came back because of the tide, and they kind of lodged in the sand, and we took some pictures, and then I went on to share it. And I think that ultimately just bringing this conversation to light and realising that there's a lot more that needs to be spoken about in terms of making the decision that so many people that have to go through fertility treatment have in terms of their frozen embryos, making it acceptable to talk about it. Because I think if you've decided to stop treatment rather than having to stop treatment are different things in themselves. So I think just highlighting that whatever has led you to this decision, it's totally acceptable, there's no judgment, and it's okay to talk about it is part of my motivation, but also to make people realise that it's not something that can be rushed, that it's something that needs support, and hopefully will encourage people to ask for help in reaching the decision.